I've never seen a boxer with such raw power. He could send a 250-kilogram punching bag flying several meters with a single punch. Looking at the scrawny opponent in front of him, Foreman didn't give him a second thought. Ever since he was a kid, besides eating, fighting was what Foreman did best. But when the actual match started, Foreman couldn't get the upper hand at all. No matter how he threw his punches, his opponent dodged them with ease, eventually knocking Foreman to the ground without breaking a sweat. The onlookers burst into laughter at Foreman, and suddenly he was transported back to his school days. Back then, he'd sit there empty-handed, watching others eat because he had no lunch. The taunts from classmates and the jeers around him would instantly ignite the fire in his chest. But he'd quickly realize he'd gone too far, so he'd run away, only to end up getting expelled anyway. After leaving school, Foreman fully embraced life as a troublemaker, wandering the streets, fighting, and robbing. That is, until he spotted a TV in a store window showing an ad for a Job Corps. It would turn out to be a life changer. The Corps offered free room and board, job training, and even a little pay. Foreman's heart raced. This could mean his little sisters would never go hungry again, and he could finally help his mom carry the load. So he signed up. On his first day, he almost got into a fight over a bed. Years of being mocked and looked down on had made him quick to anger. But when he opened his bag, there was a new pair of shoes his mom had bought him, along with a note. She hoped he'd leave his old, messed up self behind and start fresh. Foreman vowed to change. He threw himself into learning the skills, but his clumsiness made him a target for jokes. Still, he bit back his anger. Then one day, he returned to his dorm to find his mom's shoes gone. That pushed him over the edge. He kept an eye out for days, and finally spotted someone in the cafeteria wearing the exact same pair. The guy took one look at Foreman and bolted, guilt written all over his face. Foreman chased him back to the dorms, where the thief locked himself in a room. Without hesitation, Foreman smashed the door down with one punch, grabbed the guy, and pinned him against the window, ready to toss him out. Just in time, the Corps director stepped in. Foreman tried to explain the theft, but the director wasn't having it. "Either we charge you with destroying public property and send you to jail, or you're out of here," he said, dragging Foreman to the car. Panic set in. This Corps was his last shot. If he blew it, his mom would be heartbroken. It was his only chance to turn things around. He begged the director for another shot. The director saw how sincere he was, and remembered that Foreman had just punched through a door. He changed his mind, turned the car around, and drove Foreman to the boxing gym. Sure, Foreman had brute strength, and he'd scrapped on the streets for years, but against a real boxer, he didn't stand a chance. He got knocked out cold in seconds. Furious, he stormed off the ring and took it out on a punching bag, sending that 250-kilogram sack flying with one hit. The director smiled, seeing what he'd suspected. Foreman was a natural. He just needed training. "Stick with me," he told Foreman, and that's how it all began.